The final outcome is already poison for the division because reputations are cracking, futures are being quietly rearranged, and somebody in power just realized they might have backed the wrong horse. And yeah, I know that sounds insane, so rewind with me right now because this whole thing detonated the moment Arman Tsarukyan snapped on a livestream and turned a simple prediction into a public execution that exposed egos, fake expertise, and a fragile hierarchy nobody wants you to question yet, because once you see how fast it unraveled, you can't unsee it.
Topuria and Islam, Topuria has no chance. Whatever. You think Topuria can beat Islam?
Yeah.
Bro, you
no, at 170,
MMA,
no.
bro.
At 170, no. At 155, yes.
Like working in interview guy. You know shit about MMA.
I do. There's no way Ilia Topuria can't.
What's good, bro?
It starts ugly and loud with Arman staring straight through the screen at MMA guru over that Ilia Topuria pick over Islam Makhachev. Not disagreeing calmly, but attacking the foundation of the opinion itself like, nah, this isn't analysis. This is ignorance, and when a top contender openly questions your MMA knowledge in front of everyone, that's not banter, that's a warning shot, because fighters don't do that unless they think something bigger is being misrepresented or someone's being protected, and trust me, that part matters later.
Topuria and Islam, Topuria has no chance. Whatever. You think Topuria can beat Islam?
Yeah.
Bro, you
no, at 170,
MMA,
no.
bro.
At 170, no. At 155, yes.
Like working in interview guy. You know shit about MMA.
I do. There's no way Ilia Topuria can't.
What's good, bro?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, 165.
No, it's 170 as well.
Bro, Islam fighting 170. He's not 155 fighter.
Yeah, that's why I said at 170 I don't think so, but it's close. But at 155 I think Ilia can beat Makhachev. Yeah. Very good. No.
He has just boxing, that's it.
He has grappling too.
Where?
He submitted Bryce Mitchell.
Bro, Bryce Mitchell, zero wrestling.
He ended up on top of Oliveira. He got him in a crucifix. That's good, right?
Bro, I need the fight to show you.
Okay.
I want to see that fight too, man. We need that.
Then it jumps from words to humiliation real fast when Arman turns it into a grappling challenge with 15 grand on the line. And this is where things quietly turn dangerous for the narrative, because it wasn't competitive, it wasn't close, it was effortless, and Arman laughing it off as the easiest payday of his career wasn't just flexing it, was him telling you the gap between talking and reality is massive. And if you think that doesn't bleed into rankings and matchmaking, you're not paying attention yet.
Easy money.
Easy money.
Yeah.
Easiest thing you've ever done?
No, yesterday I made 40K for 1 minute, but just slam a couple fat guys.
Oh my God. Okay. What the fuck?
Yeah, making money every day.
Now, here's where the paranoia kicks in, because while Arman is making examples of people outside the cage, inside the division, a storm is building around Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. And Paddy's confidence isn't subtle. It's reckless, loud, and strategically loud, while Arman openly says he wants Gaethje to win because that path leads straight to him. And ask yourself, why would a contender publicly root like that unless he's been told something, unless he knows how the pieces are supposed to move next?
Tom Hardy, a couple weeks ago, he mentioned that he was offered a grappling match against you December 30th. Did you get that offer?
Yeah, I got that offer, but he couldn't come because of he was filming something. I don't know. He's like, yeah. So, but maybe in the future, why not?
Arman doesn't stop there either, because he straight up says Paddy doesn't want that smoke. That a Gaethje win forces honesty, while a Paddy win creates delays and dodges, and when he says Justin is the kind of guy who doesn't hide from hard fights. It sounds respectful on the surface, but underneath it's an accusation aimed directly at Paddy, like you already know how this matchup ends, and that's why you're stalling. And nah, that's not normal trash talk. That's loaded.
Yeah, he wants me to get hurt because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm a nightmare for him, and he knows that if we're gonna fight, he's gonna lose, and he's gonna try not to fight me on his whole life. And I hope Justin Gaethje gonna knock him out and send him back to England, and he can eat his I don't know what he's eating there, chicken or whatever.
Paddy fires back with confidence bordering on delusion, talking about openings and finishes and not letting it touch the judges, and yeah, fighters always believe. But this feels different because he's leaning hard on preparation stories and gym narratives. And every time someone over-explains why they're calm, I start wondering what they're trying to drown out, because somewhere in all that confidence, there's a crack. And I'm telling you right now, that crack becomes important later in this story.
So how do you think you're going to get this one done?
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know we can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje, and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as.
When Paddy starts comparing training partners and elevating his own circle by saying Luke Riley is a better striker than Justin Gaethje, that's when alarms go off for me, because that's not hype, that's dismissal, and dismissing a proven killer like Gaethje publicly is either supreme belief or strategic misdirection. And I can't shake the feeling that someone's overselling comfort here to hide uncertainty, and not. Don't forget this moment because it echoes again later.
Like me at all. So the fact that I've got Ellis playing Justin Gaethje for me, and then I've got Luke, who's a better, faster, more powerful technical striker than him, I think it all goes into my favour.
You got Luke Riley above Justin. You're rating him above Justin Gaethje in the striking department already in his career, you reckon?
Yeah. Luke Riley's been fighting Thai in Thailand since he was 8 years old, lad. You know what I mean? When Justin Gaethje was wrestling, lad, Luke was fighting Thai and then doing amateur boxing, and Luke's striking is a class above.
Then Trevor Whitman steps in, and suddenly the tone shifts from bravado to threat, because now we're talking about a new Justin Gaethje, not just leg kicks and chaos, but offensive grappling, positional control, ground pressure. And when Whitman says they're done fighting defensively, that's basically him admitting past mistakes and promising violence with intent. And if you think Paddy's camp didn't hear that, you're crazy, because that changes everything overnight.
Whatever Paddy's saying is like whatever he's dreaming and thinking, you know, all power to him. We're ready for everything, and we did not go into this fight thinking it's going to be just a striking fight at all. Like, Justin has spent so much time. That's probably the proudest thing I am with Justin, is the amount of time that he's put into his grappling, because his wrestling is so high level. But it's more of the offensive and positional type of fighting. You know, for so long, I remember when we got stopped by Oliveira, and I had to have a conversation with everybody on the team, like, hey, Justin is a high level guy, one of the best scramblers out there. You have some of the best slams out there, the Rampage Jackson type of slams. We're offensive. Justin's style is offensive, and to be a champion, you push people back. You have to put people on their heels. I look at this as when we had the Oliveira fight, we were defensive. We were like, don't get in this position. How do you get out of this position? You can't win fights like that. And you have to win offensively.
And right when you think it's just about a fight, Arman drags the UFC itself into it by claiming Paddy is being protected and fast-tracked. And this is where it stops being sport and starts being politics, because he's saying certain matchups would kill the momentum, so they're being avoided. And when a top contender says that out loud, it means the whispers backstage are louder than what we're hearing publicly. And yeah, someone's lying somewhere.
Everybody knows they trying to keep Paddy Pimblett. They want to make him a champion because it's his chance to be a champion. They know that if they're gonna put me against him, he's gonna lose, and the star is gonna be gone. And Gaethje is easy money for him. You know, he's old. he has maybe 1 or 2 fights left, so that's why they gave him even interim title, because he's not gonna be even real champion, because there is Ilia Topuria and never he can beat Ilia Topuria.
Arman explaining why he wasn't on the first Paramount card sounds calm on the surface, but it's loaded with resentment underneath, because being labeled too dangerous or too risky isn't a compliment in this business. It's a delay tactic, and when he says he's fine waiting while confidently saying the belt will be his anyway, it feels less like patience and more like someone who knows time will expose decisions that don't make sense yet.
But do you feel like you're not getting the opportunity that you truly deserve?
Of course, I already supposed to fight in June versus Ilia Topuria and fought Oliveira. And then I was a backup. I made them my weight. I was a backup. I was ready. And then I supposed to fight for the title. And then they said, no, you gotta do one more fight. I said, okay, no problem. Give me anybody. They gave me Hooker. I went there, just maul him and beat him so easy, choke him out. And then I was supposed to fight for the title.
Yeah.
And then they said, yeah, you're too dangerous to push you on the first card on the Paramount, because headbutt, pull out, beat fan. That's why they said you gotta wait. And I said, okay, what I can do?
Yeah.
I'll just wait, and I know my belt is not gonna it's gonna be mine. I work.
Then Michael Bisping drops the quiet bomb about backup plans, about how if Paddy slips even once, the machine pivots instantly to Dan Hooker, and that's when it clicks that nobody's path is secure here. Not Paddy's, not Arman's, not even Justin's, because the UFC isn't betting on outcomes, they're betting on options, and when a promotion keeps multiple exits open, it's usually because they're not fully convinced by the current story they're selling you.
If Paddy beats Justin, none of this matters, because they ain't gonna fight. But if he loses, I think we might see this fight happen pretty quickly, because remember, 1 week after UFC 324, I'll be there. The week after, I'll be there as well in Sydney, Australia. UFC 325 is happening. Dan Hooker's going up against Benoit Saint-Denis. And if Dan Hooker wins, if Dan Hooker loses, it doesn't matter. If Paddy Pimblett loses, that's going to be the next fight. Simple as that. And right now, Paddy Pimblett is not making any friends in the lightweight division. And you know what? It doesn't matter, because guess what? None of these are his mates. Whether he's a good mate or he's a bad mate, none of that matters. You're here for yourself. It's me, myself, and Irene. For you, your family, your loved ones. You're trying to build a better life. None of these people that you're going to step foot in an octagon with are your friends. None of them give a about.
Bisping also casually says Ilia Topuria might hold that belt through 2026, and that should terrify everyone else at lightweight, because if that's true, then half these fights are just distractions, placeholders, while the real threat waits untouched. And when Arman is called a dark horse but not scheduled, it tells me there's a collision coming. They're not ready to announce yet, and nah, that delay is not accidental.
At 155 pounds, I don't see anyone beating Ilia Topuria. I just don't. Not Paddy, not Justin. Yeah, all right, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, and he's the dark horse. Obviously, Paddy and Justin are fighting for the interim title. That's an interesting fight, because Justin, better boxer, better wrestling, never uses the wrestling. Even if he did use the wrestling, you wouldn't really want to take Paddy Pimblett down. Paddy's a lot younger, a lot less miles on the clock, a lot less wear and tear. I'm kind of early leaning towards Paddy Pimblett in that fight, but who's the undisputed champ at the end of 2026? So yeah, 2026, Topuria will still be the champ. Yeah, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, but I don't think that fight will materialize just yet.
Things get messier when trash talk crosses lines and suddenly public opinion flips. And when Paddy's words spark backlash, instead of hype, it exposes how thin the margin really is. Because one bad moment can shift you from golden boy to liability. And the way this got defended instead of denied tells me damage control was already in motion, and that usually means someone upstairs didn't like how loud it got.
And lad, people are saying like Justin Gaethje, he's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a rapist off his ma. You know what I mean?
Okay, strong statements about Dan Hooker there.
Meanwhile, Arman keeps competing outside the UFC spotlight, dominating high-level wrestlers and quietly stacking receipts. And this is the scariest part because inactivity kills hype, but activity builds inevitability. And every time he wins somewhere else, it makes the silence around his title shot louder. And I swear there's a reason nobody wants to say his name too confidently right now.
And he just tech-balled him. Arman Tsarukyan is that guy.
This was not supposed to happen. This was not supposed to happen, not this way.
Justin Gaethje is fighting Paddy Pimblett coming up. Who do you favor?
I want Justin to beat Paddy. Yeah. Because that Justin, he's gonna fight with me, but Paddy, if Paddy wins, he's gonna try to avoid me and trying not to fight me because he's not man like Justin.
Twitter and some YouTube comments, people are really going after Paddy for this. And obviously Dan Hooker came out with a wild response as well. We'll get to that in a second. But just on Paddy here, you got to remember, he's a lad from Liverpool where they do have a great sense of humour, but also, you know, it can be a little cutting, it can be a little bit dark. And he was speaking to another English guy. Now, as I say, I'm not defending the fact that he brought up Dan Hooker's mom, right? He should not have done that. But in the context, right, it wasn't that bad. He never said anything too bad. He was basically just talking about the grappling of Dan Hooker. Now, should he have mentioned his mother? No, absolutely not. He shouldn't have done that. And Dan Hooker has got absolutely every single right to be as pissed off as what he is, okay? And
I just want to say he has no grappling. He trains with bullshit guys. He never compete even the high level. He never compete in jiu-jitsu or grappling. I saw him. He had a fight, grappling fight, and he tapped or he lost. So he's a trash can in the grappling and the wrestling.
He's been grappling a lot. I know you don't want to talk about him, but how do you feel about his his grappling tournaments, Steve?
Lad, I heard he nearly got triangled by what's his name?
Shara Magomedov.
Yeah, he nearly got triangled by him and he can't grapple to save his life either.
It's a tough
He's a
one.
striker and he nearly got triangled by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever got any interest of taking those sort of exhibition type things? You know, RAF have got this kind of like grappling thing. Is there ever been like a reach out for like a let's do a grappling match for Pimblett, or is that?
I don't know. Before I was in the UFC years ago when I was coming back from an injury, I done Polaris one time against Stevie Ray. He caught me in a leg lock. That's like the only one I've done in the past 10 years or something like that. I used to do grappling competitions all the time when I was younger and stuff like that, but obviously I'm focused on fighting now. I don't, like, he can go off and do all these other things if he wants, lad, but hopefully he takes his neck doing them.
Okay.
I think Paddy obviously needs to do what he does really well, which is fights out long, right? He uses those kicks up the middle. He's got a good knee that we saw him land against Chandler. And then almost kind of land your points and force Gaethje to try to close the distance. And that's when I would try to wrestle. He looks huge to me in a good way nowadays, Paddy. I'm always impressed. It seems like he's getting fitter and fitter, further and further out from these fights as well. We only see Fat Paddy for a little bit. Gaethje, I think keeping it on the feet, boxing in close, and just trying to murder the legs like he always does is something that he needs to do. I don't know if testing Paddy's jiu-jitsu is the move for Gaethje, so it'll be interesting, man. But I think Paddy's got a goddamn good chance.
We see that Arman Tsarukyan is so active in grappling, you know?
Listen, man, this guy might just be the best lightweight in the world. Since Islam's gone, he's really good, man. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. The champion, Ilia Topuria, is tremendous. I think Ilia and Arman are the two best guys in the world. I think they need a fight at some point because I think Paddy Pimblett is awesome. Justin Gaethje is awesome. Arman and Ilia seem to have something. And not only something in terms of skill, but between the two that we could build a great fight around, right? So yeah, I think Arman's fantastic though, man. He's good. He looked great against Dan Hooker too.
When Arman talks about potential matchups and even offhand mentions like Tom Hardy not happening yet, it sounds playful, but it also shows how unbothered he is by waiting, and that's dangerous because calm contenders with unfinished business tend to explode when the door finally opens, and if you think the division is ready for that energy, you're lying to yourself.
Why UFC is not giving Arman a title fight?
I don't know. I don't know why Arman's not fighting for a title. I really don't. I've heard the reason because of what happened in Los Angeles. I thought that by weighing in as the backup fighter when Ilya fought Charles, and then by going and fighting Charles Oliveira or Dan Hooker, it would be okay. I don't know. I don't know what the conversations that they're having behind closed doors are, because they're telling him something that's making him okay with it, right? Because if he wasn't okay with it, he would be more loud about him not getting his opportunity. Yeah. So I kind of defer to, they know more than we do. And so we got to kind of accept it for what it is, because it seems like Arman is doing that too.
Damn, what could be next for Paddy? Ilya says he thinks Paddy kills Justin Gaethje. I don't think kill him, dude. Justin Gaethje is so fucking solid. But again, 5-round fight, 2, 3, 4 rounds into the match, and Paddy does score a takedown. Now he's got maybe Justin Gaethje on his back in half guard.
That's very plausible. Justin forgets he could wrestle.
He definitely trains it, but you could see why Ilya thinks that a little bit. Plus, Justin Gaethje's 36, Paddy Pimblett's 30 years old. But again, you can't count Justin Gaethje out. He could knock Paddy the out.
I would lean towards Justin.
I obviously am not one of these fans, but some fans thought Arman should have been the one to get a 155 title pound shot.
We knew that would happen too.
Of course. Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to 100%, not go with him? It did, right?
A lot of things have factored in, you know. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of leaning towards Paddy. But the way he does get hit with left hooks, he looks so good against Michael Chandler. Paddy's got a lot of ways to win.
He's a scouser.
He's a scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out, you mushroom.
He KO'd Dustin with a head kick too. The fight before the Max Holloway one, which is pretty impressive.
True. So who we got, man?
Probably Paddy rear naked.
I think. Paddy RNC.
Because remember, it could be.
Yeah.
The constant back and forth about grappling, who's legit, who's fake, who avoids tests, who trains where, all of it feels like smoke, but smoke means fire somewhere, and every accusation feels like it's circling one uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say cleanly yet, because once it's said, you can't protect careers the same way. And yeah, I don't think this is done, not even close.
Gaethje, Paddy, what do you think it looks like?
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced. I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. You know, because of his, his haircut and the way he talks and the, some of the, the strength of schedule. People don't give him a lot of credit, but when I fought him in April in Miami, I'm not going to say that I was surprised, because I was expecting the best version of Paddy, but he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, which I can't, but if I had to lean one direction, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilya Topuria later on this year.
All right. Okay.
I'm not afraid to speak it out loud. Like, this is our last run. Like, Justin's not. If we don't win this fight, we're not going on. Like, we're not going to go out there and be a gatekeeper and look at money fights and shit like that. It's he's a goal setter, and his mentality, just like he finished up. I don't know if you watched that video. Might as well go watch it if you haven't. We're in his house and the family's having a dinner, and I have that true talk, and I'm talking to his family. I'm not talking to him. And it's the way he ends it. He's like, "It's not over, coach." So that's the key to Justin. Justin is very unique. He would fight over and over and over, but he knows he's got to be there for the family. He's got to be smart and take care of his health. And but we win this belt. My shoot to the moon type of goal would be, let's go out there and repeat defenses. Obviously, this is an interim title fight, so we're not the champ yet, so we'd have to go win that belt next.
And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against Paddy Pimblett. Now, talking about the matchup, of course, it is an easier fight for Justin than what it is against Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest of all time. Islam Makhachev, the current pound for pound, and according to many people, a man that is surpassing fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov, right? So in that regard, it is an easier matchup. Will Paddy be able to take him down? Will he dance around the octagon? Yes, he will. Will he try and replicate the game plan of Max Holloway? Of course he will. Who wouldn't try and do that? You aren't going to stand and go toe-to-toe with Justin Gaethje because the man does have knockout power. But underestimate Paddy at your peril. That's all I'll say about that one, but that is a phenomenal fight.
And that's why none of this feels settled, because every prediction sounds confident, but every move feels defensive. Every plan has a backup. Every statement has an angle. And I keep getting this feeling that someone knows something big is about to drop and they're just trying to position themselves before it does. So don't blink, because the next update won't clarify anything. It's going to make this even more unstable.